There are a lot of mini Parallettes on the market and we have collected the 12 best for you. Which one out of these 12 will be our number one? Let's find out. So as you can see, over the years we've collected a lot of mini Parallettes or push-up bars, and when it comes to Parallettes there are three kinds. So you have the low, which are great for stability. You also have the high Parallettes, which are great for exercise variety, and the mini Parallettes, they are great for portability. So we have wooden Parallettes. Over here we have a combination of wood and metal. And besides that, we have interlocking ones. We have all kinds of grips like ergonomic grip and the normal round one. We have different kind of thicknesses and also different kinds of sizes when it comes to the Parallettes. So we will be comparing these Parallettes on three main criteria, which is the overall grip, the stability and the durability of the Parallettes. And besides that, they are mostly the same, but there might be some outliers when it comes to the pricing and also the transportability. So we will keep that in mind as well. So let's get into it. The grip of this one kind of feels smooth. It has good grip on the floor. There's like these ripples.
I mean, it slightly moves. Also the thing came off. When you do wide stuff, the pressure is outwards. Yeah, because now it's moving out while I'm doing this.
So to conclude, the grip, we really like it. It is quite smooth. We didn't experience any wobble to the side or to the front. The only thing that's concerning is that the anti-slip feet come off when you're doing a wide handstand, so that's to the side. But when it's to the front, the anti-slip feet definitely do their job. We've actually also had the former version of this Parallette and it definitely lasts for a long time. The only thing is that these thingies that protect you from the screws that they used, they kind of come off or they get damaged, but of course that doesn't really hurt the usability of the product. So overall we are a big fan, but the only thing is when you are doing wide handstands, then the feet come off. The grip reminds me actually of the one from Gornation because it's also quite smooth. Yeah, I mean, that's never gonna happen, this kind of force when using it.
It doesn't feel as grippy, so I'm a little bit scared. Yeah, I'm really pushing out now and nothing is happening. Oh, never mind. Yeah, so it seems fine, but if you really want to, you can move it.
They kind of feel similar to the Gornation ones. They are a bit higher and a bit wider. I really like it. When it comes to the stability, it feels quite robust. Quite concerning that it moves, but that was also the case with the Gornation one. These don't come off though, but they feel a bit more smooth instead of more like rubber. Stability is good, and when it comes to the durability, these feel super robust. So I think these will also last you a long time. The grip of these feels nice. This one is a ergonomic grip. In our opinion, this always comes down to personal preference. I like the grip, but I'm just very used to rounded grips. Oi, oi. Okay. Because it's quite a high Parallette, it kind of feels like it might tip over more quickly because it's not as wide as some of the other Parallettes are. It does have good anti-slip feet. One thing though, they do deliver extra anti-slip feet, but that's only because sometimes they do come off.
Yeah, so it does tilt a little bit if I'm not careful, but I don't want to have to be careful, to be honest, because other Parallettes don't require you to do that.
So the grip of these Parallettes, it feels very nice on the hands, and when it comes to the ergonomic grip, like we said, we're just not used to it, but gymnasts use this kind of grip, so it must be good for something, and we think it's just personal preference. This Parallette is quite a high Parallette, so it does seem to tilt when you're doing exercise to the side, but to the front it does feel very stable. The anti-slip feet definitely do their job, but it is not so nice that they come off sometimes. Other than that, it seems like a very robust Parallette, so it seems like a nice option. Nice, the anti-slip feet of this one also seems super nice. This one is also an ergonomic grip, but as you can see, it's fully wood. Nice. This one does seem to tilt less to the side.
Yeah, okay, this feels better than the other one. It didn't feel like it was moving or tilting. Like I'm really trying to tilt it now, and I can only slightly. Seems a bit better than the other one.
So this is the first fully wooden Parallette that we discussed. We really like the look of it. It is a nice grip, and of course it's also an ergonomic grip. But with this one, it doesn't seem to tilt to the side as much. And also we are a fan of these anti-slip feet. So in this case, we prefer this one over the other one from PullUp Dip. This one by Movement Made is actually super thick. So the diameter of this one is 50 millimeters. And in comparison to the other ones we checked so far, those were 40 millimeters. All right, this seems to not be able to slip at all. The anti-slip feet looks super nice. I don't know what I think about the thick grip. It's feels good. Wow. Feels super sturdy on the floor. The grip is nice of the wood itself.
When we did the individual review, it seemed thick, but now that we've just tried 4 different grips, which were way smaller, the difference seems way bigger than I thought it was. It's touching parts of my palm that usually don't get used in the same way, which feels unfamiliar. Not necessarily bad, just unfamiliar. What are these anti-slip feet, dude? This time I'm not risking anything, I feel. These anti-slip feet are actually insane. Nothing's happening. They do not want to move.
So when it comes to the Movement Made mini Parallettes, we really like the grip. It feels very nice. Of course, it is very thick, and we don't really know what we feel about that because we're just not used to it. But when it comes to the stability of this Parallette, it doesn't tilt to the side, it doesn't tilt forwards, and the anti-slip feet of these are the best we've seen so far. For the rest, Movement Made is also focused on sustainability, and these Parallettes definitely seem durable and well made. So we really like these Parallettes. So before we test this one out, of course you can see that these are super small. These are the smallest ones from the whole collection. Also they interlock, so that's super nice. So the length of these Parallettes is 20 centimeters. So it's like 8 centimeters high, and when it comes to the width, it is also 8 centimeters. So as you can see, this is definitely a very small package, and you can easily put this into a backpack. So let's test them out. Anti-slip feet also seem to do their job quite well. Feels quite decent. Let's see how Jorik feels when doing a wide handstand on this one.
Seems fine. This is me doing it. I mean, there was some slight, well, backwards tilting in the beginning, but the second time there was nothing, so that seemed fine. Honestly, it seems fine.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, there is a little bit too much movement for my taste. So I guess you sacrifice sort of a little bit of the stability in order to make them this small.
So obviously with this one, they went for compactness and transportability, and that's because they are very small, but also they have the interlocking system, and because it is also held together with a magnet, it is also easy to put it into a backpack. But because of that, you also lose some things. For instance, you definitely have a less stable Parallette because they are very low. Actually, you don't have much space. So like if you want to do an L-sit to a handstand, that definitely becomes harder. The fact that it is less stable is also quite logical, and we still think that it's a good product. So onto the Kensui Max. So this one is, as you can see, quite a bit bigger than the Pro. It is an ergonomic grip, so that's one difference. Also, it has an interlocking system. It again works with a magnet, which is very nice. They again seem to do their job quite well. This really reminds me of the PullUp Dip one because it's an ergonomic grip as well. It feels stable.
I mean, it feels pretty nice. The anti-slip seems okay. Like, there is some movement, but it'll tilt before it actually moves. Yeah, no. It moves when I go wide.
The grip feels nice, it feels nice on the hands. It is an ergonomic grip though, so we are not that used to it. When it comes to the design, we really like the interlocking system with the magnets, which is quite innovative. They are fairly stable, also because of the anti-slip feet, which are really nice. And to the front, it feels stable. But when it comes to doing exercises like wide ones, for instance, then you definitely feel some tilting to the side. And the pull-up and dip fully wooden parallettes, those are actually more stable than this one, and those are also €8 cheaper. So if you are looking for an ergonomic grip, we would go for that one. So onto the Gorletic parallettes. As you can see, these also have an interlocking design, and this one doesn't have the magnets like the ones from Kensui, but it does have this strap, which is a Velcro strap, and then you can just take it apart. The grip feels quite rough, so let's test it out. Also, these anti-slip feet feel super good. Nice, feels super stable. Wait.
I like this grip. Yeah, they're not moving. I'm really pushing right now. They feel very similar to the movement made anti-slip feet. So far these seem like my favorites. They're very stable, the grip is awesome, both in thickness and sort of the texture. They're not moving, they're not tilting. They have an interlocking system. Curious if anything's gonna beat this.
So basically I would agree with Jorik. I like the interlocking system, I like the anti-slip feet and the feel of the bar, everything. So we would definitely recommend these. They're very like simple stickers, like the anti-slip feet, but still kind of does the job. It just kind of feels more cheapy, like when I look at this, but the grip feels nice. It is a nice diameter, it's quite thin, no negatives yet. Actually, it feels quite stable.
Yeah, like 36 millimeters.
All right.
So it is the thinnest so far. And it could be because we've just tested 7 different ones, but now it sort of feels too thin. Yeah, so I can move them. So they're decent, like they're definitely not bad. We've just seen better, but these seem very nice, especially since these are very cheap. They're not moving. But I think at this point, they're already moving. So I'm scared to do wider. Yeah, I mean, they start moving at this point, but decent.
So when it comes to the RaMaSS Fitness Parallettes, they have a very smooth grip. We think it's kind of too smooth. It's the thinnest bar we have, so 36 millimeters is quite thin. And after using the 40 millimeters all the time, it definitely feels a bit too thin. For the rest, it is a good parallette, it's quite stable. Also, the anti-slip feet are surprisingly good, except when you're doing like wide exercises, then it starts slipping a bit. But they're also very cheap, so it's not a bad parallette at all. So on to the Marmati parallettes. As you can see, there's a bunch of things that are clear immediately. First of all, it has a color. They actually come in different colors. So the grip is actually made of aluminium, and also they have cork on the bottom as anti-slip feet. So I'm very curious whether this is anti-slip enough. So they seem nice, but they also come at a cost. They are €130, which is definitely a lot. So let's test them out. Actually, the anti-slip is not good enough. I'm very curious when Jorik will do a wide handstand, whether it will manage. For the rest, it feels fine. They are also 40 millimeters in diameter. When you start getting sweaty, they become more slippery. So of course, you could use some chalk or you could use some grip tape, but usually we prefer wooden grips because they also take up your sweat. So it's nice that they are thinking about sustainability, but of course it also should be a very usable parallette. For now also the grip feels kind of harsh, like on your hands.
It feels so cold. Comparing it to even the last one of RaMaSS, this is way easier to just move. Yeah, I'm not that wide yet and they're already a little bit slipping. Yeah. Yeah, they're slipping. This floor is just not the right floor for cork, I guess. But comparing it to all the other ones, like pretty much every single one has been more stable. It's not moving or tilting in any way, so that's good. The cork is just not that nice.
I mean, it looks nice, right? But it does take up some moist, I presume. Also, like, it might get damaged if you use it on like harsh environments like stone or something, right?
Yeah.
In grass, I would not use it, honestly.
Yeah, because you can sort of like scrape off already. So if this is on even the stones outside, I think it will start tearing.
Maybe use it on a yoga mat.
Yeah, that might work.
So the Marmati Cloud Parallettes are called this because they are very light, and this is because of the aluminium. The aluminium doesn't take up your sweat, so this is less nice than the wooden grips. And also when it comes to the cork, this is not anti-slip enough for using it with wider grip exercises on a floor like this. It might work on a yoga mat, for instance, and in a yoga studio these definitely work because they look very nice, but then they are also quite expensive. This is mostly the case because they use sustainable materials as well, but it is quite expensive, 130 euros, so it's up to you whether it's worth the money. On to the ThenX Parallettes. These kind of came assembled, but the feet were a bit unstable and they actually deliver a tool with it to tighten it up. So we just did, so they should be good to go. Also, what you had to do is these anti-slip feet, they came as a sticker and you had to put them on, and they kind of remind us of the RaMaSS stickers, but they're bigger. So now let's test them out. All right, just like the RaMaSS one feels good, and these actually are also very cheap, feel stable as well. When it comes to the grip, the diameter of this one is 38 millimeters. So normally it was 40, the RaMaSS one was 36. This was kind of thin. But for me, this actually feels quite nice.
They're definitely stronger than the RaMaSS one. These are up there with the best ones. I'm really trying to push right now.
Nice.
But nothing's happening. Yeah, still.
Nice.
Nothing's happening. I was not expecting them to be that stable for how cheap they are. But yeah, the grip is nice. The size, it feels better than the RaMaSS one, just it's in between the sizes, but this is more what I'm used to. And the stability is very good. So when it comes to the ThenX Parallettes, the fact that we had to put on the anti-slip feet ourselves and that we had to tighten it up, we actually don't think it means anything because they feel super sturdy and also they don't slip. So we actually think it's one of the best anti-slip feet we've seen so far. When it comes to the grip, we really like it. It's not too smooth, it's actually very nice, and the 38 millimeters also feels super good on the hands. For the rest, we also think it's quite durable. It feels like good quality, but you might just have to like tighten it up every once in a while, but we don't think it will be a problem. Plus, it is actually very stable. So for the price that it comes at, 39 euros, it's actually one of the best we've seen so far. So when it comes to the Caliathletics Parallettes, the first thing that you notice are two things, which is that it's very long and also it's actually very low. They're the lowest and the longest out of all of the ones that we've seen so far. All right, it feels super nice. These actually feel like super stable. Maybe the most stable out of all of them. I'm actually quite impressed with the anti-slip feet as well. So because they're so low, it's actually quite hard to get from an L-sit, for instance, into a handstand or into planche. So I also really like the feel on the hands. It is a very nice grip. It is also 14 millimeters. And I do feel that my knuckles might just hit the floor if I do certain exercises, but I'm not sure if that's a problem. It feels a little bit low. Sometimes my thumbs are hitting the floor. I think it's just not a problem, but mentally you think you might hit the floor with your hands, but I'm not actually. Now let's test the feet. Jesus Christ, you weren't lying. Yeah, these are up there, definitely. Like they're super stable, even in the widest, but not really moving. So that seems fine. But I don't know, every time I'm in a handstand, there's like slight touching of the floor and that just messes, either it messes with my brain or I'm just literally touching everything. So to conclude, we really enjoyed all of the Parallettes that we discussed today, and actually some of them, they could have been in this top 3 if they changed up some minor things, but there can only be one winner, and in this case it is the ThenX Parallette. This one, we really enjoyed the grip. It definitely doesn't slip on your floor after you've tightened up the screws. It is a very sturdy Parallette, and it's actually also very cheap. It is only 40 euros, which is one of the cheapest that we've seen, so that's why this one is number 1.
So onto the Gorletic one. This one does everything that the ThenX Parallette does. It is a bit bigger and it does have a very nice interlocking system with a strap, which makes it easy to transport, but it is 20 euros more expensive, so that's why this one is number 2. So onto the Gravity Fitness one. This one costs also 60 euros, but we do prefer the grips of these two over this one because it's a little smooth, but for the rest it is a very stable Parallette and also very good quality. It is a bit more bulky and it doesn't have the interlocking system and the strap, so it's harder to transport, and that's why this one is number 3. So the links to all of the products that we discussed in this comparison will be in the description, and on most of them we have a discount code which is CWW10 for 10% off, so make sure you use that. And besides that, check out all our other comparisons and we will see you in the next one. Have a good day!